gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I'd like to ask the men to please remove their caps. May the words of our lips and the meditations of our hearts be always acceptable to you, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Let us pray. O God the Father, creator and preserver of us all, thank you for the gracious provision of this day and all that it represents. May we steward your providential care faithfully. O God, the Son, Redeemer of our souls, thank you for purchasing us with your blood, rising for our justification, and ascending for our glorification. May we follow joyfully where you have led the way. O God, the Spirit, sanctifier of the faithful, thank you for filling us with life, uniting us to Jesus, and empowering us with your manifold gifts. May we receive your ministry to us with love. O glorious and blessed Trinity, ever one God, who is the fount of all love, laughter, and light, bring us, we pray you, into your eternal embrace. May we ever live to praise you, to give you thanks, and to glorify you. Give us in this life knowledge of your truth, and in the age to come, life everlasting. And all this we ask in the blessed and most holy name of our Savior Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you, O Father, and you, O Spirit, one God, world without end. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance Please be seated.
Welcome to this 170th commencement ceremony of Hillsdale College. Thank you for coming. Let us remember to be grateful for the blessings of the Lord upon this college, which have been abundant amidst all the trouble in the world. I will tell you that I've been getting some therapy from our speaker today. I told him I'm having trouble with schizophrenia. I read the paper in the morning and I get all sour, and then I come up here and I'm happy. And his advice was more sophisticated than this, but more or less it amounted to, don't read the paper. This ceremony is a wonderful thing, and it takes a little understanding. And I've decided over the years that the best way to understand it is to understand why everybody is here. Everybody in this room represents themselves, something important to them, and they represent whole categories of people that number in the thousands at least, and mostly in the millions. The ceremony is on the occasion of the graduation of the seniors, and I'll talk about them in a bit. But it's not just about them. It took everybody here and everybody they represent to produce this ceremony. The form of the ceremony is very old and continuous, and it's bound to be true if you think about that there are reasons for it. Take the faculty. What they are is senior scholars. They are the best, and they know more than ordinary mortals, and they know more than these seniors, even now. Comparing them to freshmen is hilarious. And the work they have done, because they were all where you are in the past. And the work they have done have qualified them to lead us through the things we need to know because of what we are. Some of them are retiring, I'm sorry to say, and there's a bunch of them this year, and they're precious. They include Barbara Bushy, Chair and Professor of Art. Stand up and stay standing, please, while I finish. Ken Hayes, Chair and Professor of Physics. Jim Stevens, Professor of Philosophy, one of our very senior most faculty members. Michael Sweeney, Professor of Accounting. Jim's been here 38 years. Sweeney's young, 26 years. Dan York, who couldn't be here today, a Professor of Biology. Please stand up, all of you, and thank them for their service. We never really announce who's up here. I don't know why we don't, but there's a bunch of poobahs up here, including many leaders of the faculty, including Chris Van Orman, the provost from who you heard, and Mark Kaltoff, the dean of faculty, anything else, and Pat Sajak, who's the dean of amusement. What do the faculty do? They live with the students, and I don't mean in any improper way. They laugh with them. They eat with them. They cry with them. There's a lot of blubber babies on our faculty. Always a sign of good character. We reward them for excellence, and this year I'll name some winners. Susan McNear gave us an anonymous gift called in honor of her grandmother for 2 a year, a junior one time and a senior the other semester faculty member. And the role of the ones who've won that are tremendous teachers, all of them. And this year there were 2. James Strasberg, who's 16 years old, and Eric Hutchinson, who can't be that old because he graduated from Hillsdale College after I've been here. Would you 2 stand up, please? There is a Professor of the Year. It's elected by the senior class. You guys did this. What were you thinking? And it's a big honorific, and next, at one of the 2 convocations next year, the Professor of the Year will give a speech. And this will be a good speech, although I'm not likely to agree with it all. Because he thinks that Petrarch is higher than Aristotle. Or he implied that anyway. He's a graduate of the college, and he's just a kid. And I knew him when he was 18 years old, and he's won this thing twice now, Matt Gaetano. I'd like to ask the faculty to stand so we can thank them, please. Thank you. Jordan Peterson commented to me that the college seems happy. I think it is, and I think that's why we get the best to come here and teach. Thank you. The parents are important. They give life to you. In this age, we think of everything as artificial rather than natural, but the word natural actually means to be begotten and grow. And so I think people imagine a world where we can do away with the family. I know many people do. And the trouble with that is, because even if the technical means, which probably exist now, to make babies out of something, these seniors are 21 years old. If they were some other kind of creature, they wouldn't know who their parents are, nor their parents them. And yet, this room is full of parents, swelled with pride. They spend a third of their lives or more taking care of these young people. And I can tell you, they're very concerned with the well-being of these young people, much more than I am. Ha. They're vital in the literal sense. And what they give to the children, their children, is everything they've got. These parents, we have the best parents here, because we don't take prisoners at Hillsdale College. As you know, we stayed open during the pandemic, and I've had a lot of questions. What did the mothers say about that? And I said, well, I did answer a question at Parents' Weekend one time. They said, a woman asked me, a mother asked me, what will you do if they die? And I replied, we can get more. And the mothers always, so there's a parents' organization steering committee, and they're very active, and they come here and they descend on the campus like a plague in the week before Parents' Weekend, and they call people on the phone and they make them give us a lot of money. They shame them. It's extremely effective, and they drink wine while they do it, which makes them more effective. And so we got these old people, and they're turning the place into a party school. It's gotten out of hand. And this year, they made up a bunch of buttons. Anybody got your button on today? Yeah, see, if you look for the buttons, and what it says is, I'm not ready, their kids graduating now, right? So, I'm not ready to be finished with Hillsdale College. In other words, they don't care if their kid's here or not. And so we have started, and they're going to be in it. They're going to be the founding members of it. We've started the Alumni Parents Organization. And you'll all be invited to come back in Parents' Weekend, and we're going to get extra security. Will the parents stand up, please? General Malloy is the outgoing chairman with his wife, and they've had 400 children here. Where's he? Stand up, General. Yeah. And he's an Air Force general, and that means he was prepared to serve and fight for his country and maybe die, but he wanted to sleep in a warm bed every night. The retiring members of the steering committee, I'd like them to stand up and be recognized, because they're the ones who did the most work and made the most trouble too. Would you all stand up, please? Yeah. They're friends of the college here. They don't have a family connection. There are about 1,000 of them here. There are about 25 million of them elsewhere. They support the college. They take its online courses. They don't get anything back. I mean, they like to watch these guys on a small, and you know, they're beautiful people, but they're not fashion models. And they like to watch them on a small screen talk about complicated stuff. And they flock to college events. And they contribute to the college very large sums. No college without them. No college without the parents. No college without the faculty. They're all involved. Take any one of them out, and this is not happening today, ever. You see? And that means that everybody in this room and everybody watching is part of the achievement that we're here to celebrate today. And I want to thank you all. As I say, it's not only about the seniors, although they're very full of themselves, I can tell you. But they are the occasion where we celebrate the eternal work of the college, which goes on all the time. It must go on in your lives from here, because you're not done yet. But there'll be more after you, and after that, and after that. And so this is a way to mark an eternal thing with time, and you are passing a big milestone. You have done it. You have left your mark. For example, no senior class has ever stolen as many bottles of wine out of my house after senior dinner. I was a little cranky about it, and then one of them had heard the story, which I'm afraid is true, that I once had to caution the faculty against walking down the street with bottles of wine after an outdoor dinner. And they just thought, well, they can do it. We're seniors now, we can do it. But they did bring them back, and they were in good grace. They made a lot of messes. They always do. This one's pretty bad, I think, though. Simpson and Galloway, big boys' dorms, they're the two worst. Which was worse this year? The Simpson guys will say Simpson, and the Galloway guys say Galloway. But enough of that. There have been some real achievements among these students. An unusual thing, a unique thing in my experience. The top 10 has 4 boys in it. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Now, I'll tell you something weird. This college has slightly more boys than girls. And they're drawn from a pool the same size and the same qualifications. You can't distinguish them. And so they ought to do exactly the same. And they don't. And for years, I've laughed about it and figured out about it. And then 2 years ago, there's a young man here who's implicated in this event that I'm going to describe to you because I can't shut up about it. There was an episode of deer urine being thrown on Galloway Hall by people from Simpson Hall. And I heard about it. My son-in-law told me about it. He was very concerned. Oh, they're throwing deer urine. And I said, I'll be darned. He said, what are you going to do about that? And I said, I don't know. I'll find out. So I go to the staff meeting, and I asked Dean Phillip, what about the deer urine? And she said, well, I heard something about that. I don't know what it was. And I said, well, I've got those boys in class, and so I'll ask them. So I walked in the class, and I said, first words, what's this about deer urine? And Reagan Dugan, who works here now, and his parents, his dad works here, and they're in this audience somewhere. He said, "Dr. Arnn, that was a perfectly honorable act." And I replied, "Okay." And we have an outstanding senior man and woman, a very great honor. And this year's outstanding senior man, about to go into the Marine Corps, is implicated in that crime. Grant Boys, stand up. Now, everybody here loves Grant Boys because he's ridiculous. Everybody here loves the outstanding senior woman because she's got to be the nicest person on earth. Everybody thinks that, right? And her name is Rachel Kitty. Please stand up. She is really sweet. You should try to meet her. Don't worry about Grant. The salutatorian is Rebecca Felton. Where's she? Stand up, please. She has, we don't like 4 points here, right? Because it's bad. And she has a 3.9999 something, right? We have co-valedictorians. And in a miracle, one of them is a boy. The co-valedictorians are Rose Coster and Cliff Yang. Stand up. Rebecca majors in biology, and Rose and Cliff, majors in history, and Rose and Cliff major in biology and chemistry. And I think that proves, doesn't it, Professor Kaltoff, that history is more difficult than biology and chemistry. I've been told 100 times not to do this, and so I'm going to do it. The President's Ball King and Queen are Aiden Cyrus and Natalie Kent. Please stand up. Come on. Stand up. You're not done yet. Natalie Kent, in the flesh, was Miss Teen USA. Grant Boys was never going to win that distinction. The senior class officers have been a really great bunch, and this was, it was lucky, in part, we got a great commencement speaker, don't you think? And there was unity. And the way that's done is the officers go poll the students and ask them who they want, and they all understand we're not going to invite any axe murderers here. And you know, sometimes they want, well, I'm not going to say what kind of people they want. Often it's really great, but sometimes it's just celebrities. This time, and we make a list in the administration, and I have the power to decide. I like power. And I try to keep something crazy from happening, but the faculty will attest I have not always succeeded in that. And so this year, it was just the most harmonious thing in the world. And we got the person who was top of the list. And the ones who did that, made that list, and reasoned with me about it, are Jacob Hooper, the president. Please stand as I call your name. Maya Kaniapo'o. What is that? Somebody. What is her name? She's marrying that Fleischer boy, and he's not worthy of her. Penny Heipel is the secretary. She works in my office. Stephanie Walker is the treasurer. And Chloe Kersey is the social chair. Thank you for your service very much. It was a great year. As a group and individually, these seniors are the best we ever had. And I went back in my notes from last year and verified that I said that last year too. And it was true both years. And I expect it will be true next year. You get a year to be top of the heap. But you are awesome people, and you will be greatly missed here, except you are not leaving after all, are you? You're going to live the life that you have prepared yourself to live, and you're going to live it in contact with this college, which is a partnership that includes you, till death us do part, and beyond. Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist. He's the chancellor of Ralston College in Savannah, Georgia. Just been announced at that. It's interesting. It's a rare thing when I see some new education venture that I think holds promise, and that one seems to me to do so. And you would think that in part because he's in it. He's a prolific man. He knows the data in psychology studies. He quotes Jung and Freud with authority. I had never thought that was a virtue, but I'm learning that it can be. His discipline doesn't explain him, though, because he's interested in everything. And I've been talking to him much of the day today, which I insisted on doing because perks of power. And he knows a lot, and he's quick, and his diagnosis of what's going on in the world is marvelous. It's like mine. And better in some important ways. He started rebelling against the wokeness that's like a plague settling on education and the land. And if it settles there on education, the land will die. And he has stood up to that. He wrote a complicated book about psychology, and then he wrote a simpler book that is, however, complicated. And it became an international phenomenon. And his YouTubes and his speeches, and everything he does, millions of people attend to them. And I started attending to them. First, our children started attending to them. Then I hear you students mention them and some of the faculty. And I thought, this is a phenomenon. This is a happy thing in a difficult age. He has proved to be also, and finally, brave. He was, rather than submit himself to the questionnaires and the testimonies that one must give about your commitment to diversity. And if you think about that, what does that mean, by the way? It just means you prefer the different to the same? In principle, why would that be? And he couldn't put up with it anymore, and he gave up his tenure at a great university, or formerly great university, Toronto. And he's become a teacher of millions. I'm pleased to welcome Jordan Peterson.
So you seniors, you graduates, you're at a pinnacle of sorts. With any luck, it won't be the last one. That's one metaphor, a pinnacle. Another, how about a crossroads? You're at a crossroads, right? You're entering a new phase of your life. You're someone different than you were 4 years ago, and hopefully someone better. Likely someone better. And you have another opportunity now to be the next iteration of yourself that you can be. At a crossroads, the metaphor works because you make a decision. You go one direction or another. And there's an old blues idea that you meet the devil at the crossroads. I always wondered why that was. I thought it through. It's a really compelling idea. It's an image that has a good narrative fit, and it sticks in your memory once you hear it. Why do you meet the devil at the crossroads at midnight? Maybe that's when you examine your conscience, or it examines you. And then you might ask, well, why do you meet the devil at the crossroads? And the answer is, most fundamentally, because when you come to a place in your life where you have to make a choice, and I think this is actually true of every choice we ever make, but it's more evident when the choice is more weighty, let's say, as the choices that lay themselves out now in front of you are weighty. You aim up or down. And there's always an agent of temptation at every choice point enticing you to aim down. And I've thought a lot about what aiming down means, and so I'll run through that for a bit. The spirit of temptation, it manifests itself, for example, in the story of Cain and Abel. And so Cain falls prey to temptation, and God bluntly informs him when he complains about his fate that the temptation was freely chosen and that he could have done differently and better. And Cain becomes, this is in the aftermath of the improper sacrifices that he makes. The sacrifices that he makes that are not everything they could be, they're not in the service of the highest good, that are deceptive and arrogant simultaneously, because when we make improper sacrifices, we believe in the deepest part of ourselves that we've pulled one over God. And I suggest that that's a temptation you might want to avoid, that presumption. And then you might say, well, if you're tempted to aim down, you're tempted to make improper sacrifices, you're tempted to arrogantly presume that you are going to get away from it, with it, that you're not going to be called on it. What are the pathways down that might manifest themselves in front of you? And I think the two stories that follow the story of Cain and Abel detail that. So after Cain and Abel comes the flood. And that's no accident. The narrative placement of those stories is definitely no accident. It's unbelievably sophisticated from a literary perspective, a philosophical perspective, theological perspective, existential perspective. One form of temptation is the nihilistic chaos that's symbolically represented by the flood, right? It's the proliferation of sins. And sin is a word, both its Greek and its Hebrew derivation are related to archery. So the Greek derivation, I hope I haven't got this wrong, because I know there are Greek scholars in this audience. So the word is derived from the Greek word hamartia, which means to miss the mark, and it's an archery term. It's a lovely notion to know that, because to sin, therefore, means to miss the target, which implies that it has something to do with aim or the lack thereof. I love that. I think it's so apt. And the derivation of the word sin from the Hebrew source actually relies on the same imagery. And so to sin is to aim wrong or to miss the mark. And there's a variety of ways you can miss the mark, right? Don't aim at all. That's a good one. Assume there is no such thing as aim. Assume all aims are equal. Well, you sin, you miss the mark. What can happen? Well, one way is you can descend into a kind of nihilistic hopelessness. And that's not... You can understand that. You meet people in life whose lives have been so hard. You hear their stories. They've suffered so much, and they're bitter, and they're hurt, and they're resentful. And you think, oh my God, it's no wonder you're bitter and hurt and resentful. I mean, look what you've gone through. But you also notice that their bitterness and their resentment and their hopelessness and their chaos and their anxiety, it's not helping, right? It's worsening the problem. It's not making it better. And I'm not saying that people can always resist that, but I have certainly seen that it's not helpful. But I've also met other people, you know, who have had stories equally catastrophic, sometimes more catastrophic, sometimes so catastrophic you can't even believe that they survived, who are not embittered or made resentful by those experiences and who continue to aim up. And so that makes a mockery of a kind of casual determinism, right? Is that you end up chaotic, nihilistic, hopeless, anxious, etc., merely as a consequence of the unbearable tragedy of your life. Because if that was the case, then everyone who had a series of unbearable tragedies, which, by the way, will be almost all of us in one way or another at one time or another, would end up in that catastrophic chaos that if manifested broadly enough in a society, produces a flood that ends everything. And that's the story of Noah in large part. And Noah, you know, he's wise in his generations was a lovely phrase because it means for his time and place he was a good man. And that's a lens through which history might well be viewed. You know, we're very presumptuous, us moderns. We look back and we think, well, you know, this person who did all these remarkable things said these things that we now regard as inappropriate and therefore can be dispensed with. It's like, well, what makes you think that you're above that criticism 100 years from now, that, you know, the best you can do is to be as good as you can in your time and place, and if you can manage that, well, good for you. If you can transcend that, well, then maybe you're some sort of saint, and you're probably not. So aiming at just the first is not such a bad upper aim. And so there's the chaos domain, and I would say, those of you who are graduating, you don't want to be tempted into that, you know. One of the things I've thought a lot about in relationship to faith, you know, we have this idea, it's not a good idea, and it's certainly an idea for which religious people are often pilloried, that faith means the sacrifice of reason and the willingness to believe things that are patently not true. And when religious people debate scientists, they're often sort of hung out to dry on exactly those presuppositions, their willingness to accept on principle propositions that seem on the face of them impossible. I don't think that's what faith is at all in some fundamental sense. I think faith is a form of courage. You know, if you're hurt by life, and you will be, it's understandable that you might react in a nihilistic and hopeless fashion and become anxious and depressed and cynical and bitter and all of that. That's a bad pathway. And I think part of what helps you through that is faith. And part of that faith is that it's incumbent upon you, and actually in your best interest and everyone else's, to maintain faith in the fundamental goodness of existence, including your own, despite the evidence to the contrary. Right? Because you can draw conclusions from suffering in two ways, right? One is that you have a duty and perhaps the capability to transcend the suffering and still serve the good, or you can derive the conclusion that life is so unbearable that it would be best terminated, which is the conclusion that Goethe's Mephistopheles derives, for example, in Faust. He says, well, the world is rife with suffering, and it's so unbearable that consciousness itself, all beings, should cease to exist. That would be better. Nothing is better than something if something is rife with suffering. And you can derive that conclusion, and you'll be driven to it in some of the farther reaches of your life when terrible things happen to you. But I would say faith is the courage to not take that path despite the evidence that that might be justified. And so I think it is a form of courage in the highest sense. And I also think it is a redeeming form of courage. One of the things I told my daughter, who was very, very ill for a very long period of time and in tremendous pain and suffering the high probability of continued slow, painful, inevitable degeneration, was do not let your illness, do not take advantage of your illness as an excuse. And I told her that when she was in grade 2. You know, it's no joke to tell someone that, because I knew she'd had every reason to be embittered. But I also knew that if she was, in combination with her illness, the two things might be worse than fatal. And, you know, if you don't think there are things that are worse than fatal, you have not suffered, because there are things that are much worse than fatal. And there's certainly not something you want to doom your child to. So that's one temptation, right? That's the temptation of kind of faithless hopelessness. And an anomie, you might say, existential angst that you allow to pervade yourself. And I'm not saying you won't have your reasons, Because you will. I'm saying that the reasons don't justify the conclusion, and they certainly don't justify the conclusion, not self-evidently, and they don't justify the conclusion in any simple deterministic sense. You know, I met a woman once in my clinical practice. Man, this was something. She was as damaged a person as you could hope to contemplate. So she looked like a street person. She'd come to this behavior therapy clinic that I worked in as a student, and she was dressed like a street person. You know, she had this old ratty winter jacket on that was really dirty, and she stooped over. She wasn't very tall to begin with. She stooped over, hunched over, and she approached everyone like this, which made people shy away from her because it's an odd method of approach. But the reason she did that was she was really so timid and so humble that it was as if anybody that she approached had a light that was emanating from them too unbearable for her to behold. So it wasn't so much an oddity, although it was, as a preternatural humility. And I thought she had come to the behavior clinic because she wanted help. She was an outpatient at a psychiatric hospital that I worked at. And she couldn't communicate very well, partly because of her shyness, partly because her first language was French. Maybe she could communicate perfectly well in French, but I doubt it. She was not an intelligent person, technically speaking. You know, she was intellectually impaired, and probably in the bottom 10th percentile of the population. That's a pretty rough place to exist cognitively. You know, you're barely literate at that point. And her mother was very ill and was bedridden, and her mother had a boyfriend who was a violent alcoholic schizophrenic who was always haranguing her about Satan, and man, she had a rough life. She just didn't have anything going for her. She wasn't an attractive person physically, you know, and people shied away from her. She just was the downtrodden of the earth, you know, in the realest sense. And that bloody woman, you know, she actually came to that behavior therapy clinic. She'd been an inpatient. And this was a rough place, man, because it was a hospital after deinstitutionalization, and there were tunnels connecting some of the wards to other wards because it's so cold. This was in Montreal. It's so cold in the winter. They built a hospital on these tunnels, and I took my brother there one day, and it was like walking through Dante's Inferno. I mean, if you were so psychiatrically impaired that you weren't released in the 1980s when deinstitutionalization was maybe at its peak, you were so damaged that there was just no possibility that you could function in the outside world. So the people that were left were sort of the most demolished of the most demolished. And so just walking through there for my brother, who had no experience in such things, was traumatizing, you know. And she had been in the inpatient ward for some time and then was released, and she wanted to talk to the hospital administration because she got out and she got this dog that she took care of and went for a walk, and she really liked this dog and she took care of it, you know, and she walked with it, and she wanted to see if she could go find one of those inpatients who was worse off than her and take them for a walk every day with her dog. You know, it's so funny, eh? You meet someone like that and they just have nothing. They have nothing in the world that you would recognize as any marker of success or status or ability, or they're outcast and tortured. And then nonetheless, you know, a woman in that dismal state was able to rise above her own catastrophe, which was like manifold, and find someone worse off to try to serve. You know, you don't need many experiences like that to convince you that there's things about the world that you truly don't understand on the ethical front, you know. So I would say, when you're at the crossroads and you're counseled to despair, you know, rise up in courage and see if you can resist it. It's better for you and it's better for the people around you. So that's the flood, man. And so the story that follows that is the Tower of Babel. You know, I was reading a Wikipedia article on the Tower of Babel the other day. I'm always curious about how these things are represented most publicly, right? And Wikipedia is a great way to do that because it's collectively edited. And the interpretation was essentially, it was the description of how the languages of the world arose. And I don't think that's what that story is about at all, except peripherally. I thought, yeah, you just missed the point 100%. I mean, Babel is Babylon first, so you need to know that. And Babylon is the state that's gone mad. And it's a continual temptation for human beings to build complex organizations, right? that get too high. And so what does that mean? How about too many layers? Not local enough, not distributed enough, right? Too separate from the people that they serve. I think the EU did that. I think that's why the British left. That's the Tower of Babel. In fact, unbelievably, they used a famous painting of the Tower of Babel as a representation of the EU in some of their literature, which I think it was a painting by Bruegel, but I'm not sure of that. But that was just like, okay. I just do not understand how that happened at all. In any case, this Tower of Babel, it's also a Luciferian story. You know, Lucifer is the spirit of intellect, the light bringer, who's flown too high and challenges God himself and falls. And in Milton's story, Lucifer is called on his pretension by God and said, you know, because he is God's highest angel, God most catastrophically wrong. So a symbol of intellect, that in combination with the notion that he's a light bringer, it's a symbol of prideful intellect. And it is the prideful intellect that raises itself against what is most properly placed at the highest place, which is what God is, whatever that is. Whatever it is, it's not the intellect. That's a subordinate spirit. And if it isn't, then it becomes aimed essentially at something approximating hell and perfectly capable of creating it and then perfectly capable of ruling in it. And so when God calls Lucifer on his rebellion, he says, if you but repent, you could be welcomed home. And Lucifer says, well, I am the sort of spirit that even if I once repented, I would be instantly tempted to merely repeat my mistake. And he says as well, I would rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. It's like, hey man, there's a choice for you at the crossroads. And so, you know, people have asked me, for example, I'm very opposed to the idea that the fundamental human motivation is power, which is pretty much what every student is taught at every level of their education, in every educational institution, except a handful now across your country. Fundamental motivation is power. There's no place for people of goodwill to meet and engage in constructive dialogue, dialogos, none of that, because our fundamental motivation is nothing but the will to power. And so there is no place for people of goodwill to meet. There is no such thing as dialogue. It's all a mask, a rationalization, a post hoc rationalization for pretension and power. It's such a dismal philosophy. It's so, you could not, and I believe this technically, you could not formulate a more pathological philosophy. It obliterates your faith in society, and it eradicates the notion of the individual. It removes the notion of good faith and goodwill, and it makes communication impossible. It's like, that's a temptation to engage in that sort of destruction as a consequence of your intellectual pretensions, let's say. And for all of you, this is going to face you too, this pretension, you know. So maybe you're not the hopeless type, and the temptation that assails you at the crossroads isn't your degeneration into a kind of faithless nihilism. Maybe it's a self-aggrandizement in some sense instead, and that you feel that now you have the opportunity to serve your own ambition. Well, we could take apart what that means, because I think it's worthwhile. Psychopaths serve their own ambition. And they're the people who are most truly motivated by power, by the way, if you think about it clinically. And they're not very successful, all protestations to the contrary. They never rise above about 3% of any general population. And maybe it's a better strategy to be a manipulative psychopath than to lay inert in your bed, in your mother's bedroom when you're 40, but it's not an optimal strategy. And so you can get away with it being a psychopath because you can mimic competence and you can take advantage of people who have learned to expect the best from others, and so you can manipulate them. But you produce nothing on your own. And one of the things that's really interesting about psychopaths is they don't learn from experience, which means not only do they betray other people constantly, but they betray their own future selves. And there's really no difference between your future self and someone else, right? You know, if you're going to act ethically, and this is a very good way of thinking about acting ethically, you act in a way that works for you now, that works for you tomorrow, that works for you next week and next month and next year and in 5 years and in 10 years, and for you and your family and your friends and your broader community, and all of that simultaneously. And that's a place to find purpose in your life, to manage that balancing act simultaneously, and to sacrifice your narrow self-oriented pretensions, ambition, all of that, the celebration of your own intellect, the construction of your own empire for your own narrow purposes. Part of the reason you shouldn't do that, even though it's tempting in some sense, especially if you have the ability, is because, do you want to rule over hell? I mean, and that's another interesting question with regards to the question of whether power is a valid motivation. It's like, okay, well, Kim Jong-un, let's take him. He's a manifestation of a power player. You think it's better to be leader of North Korea than to be just an ordinary peon there? Are you so sure it's better to rule over hell than just to be a servant in hell? It's not obvious to me. That's not success by any stretch of the imagination. The most powerful devil. That's like the worst possible failure. And so, you know, you're called upon to take the lessons that you've been taught in a university like this, that attempts to teach you to abide by the eternal verities, to sacrifice your own narrow pretensions in the highest sense to something that's truly better, not because you should in some finger-wagging sense, but because there is truly nothing better, and perhaps you don't have the wisdom to see that, because it's difficult to see. It's difficult to have a purview broad enough to encompass those expanse of time and community and see what pattern of behavior is to be manifested in proper service to balance all of that in some musical manner. But that's definitely the appropriate pathway. It's the best possible path of action, and anything you pursue that isn't that is insufficient, especially for people of your ability. And I would also say, and this is very much worth thinking about too, you know, there is this idea that your great country is founded upon, for example, that each individual is of divine worth. You know, and I made reference to this client I had when I was a junior therapist, and so even the most, what would you say, ignored and alienated, marginalized, let's say, to use a word that's been overused, have something of real value to bring into the world. And this is the case. You're a particularized creature as a son of God or a daughter of God, let's say. You have something to bring into the world that no one else can bring in. And so if you fail in that duty, then you deprive the world of that. And maybe you shouldn't do that. Like maybe everything's lesser if you do that. And you don't know how much lesser, you know, because the world is also constituted in a very strange way. You know, Dostoevsky said that we're not only responsible for what we do, but for what everyone else does, which is truly an insane thing to say, but also in some sense fundamentally true. You know, I don't know how it is that each of us can bear the burden of the world on our shoulders singularly, because I can't really comprehend how things can be structured in that manner, but I do believe nonetheless that it is the case, and so that if you forswear your responsibility to the highest good, then you tear something out of the fabric of being that is of inestimable value. And I do believe you will pay for that if you do it, and I would suggest that you don't pay that price, because it will not be pleasant. That's definitely hell. And if you don't think hell is real, you haven't thought about it enough. It isn't a matter of other people believing foolish things. It's a matter of you being so naive and so well protected that you have no idea how the world is constituted. And so that's, well, that's the temptations, let's say. Chaos and nihilism and hopelessness, or intellectual pretension and the desire for self-aggrandizement and narrow power. Don't do that. It's not helpful. It won't do you any good. And it's beneath you. You know, it's beneath you to do that. And you that will manifest itself in your life, that subordination of what's highest in you to those lesser gods, let's say. That'll manifest itself in the torments of your own conscience. And no one escapes from that, you know. And so, don't do that. Don't make that choice at the crossroads. And then we might say, practically speaking, because I'm a behavioral psychologist, you know, I like to be practical. Well, that's what you shouldn't do. What should you do practically? Well, we could walk through that, you know, a little bit, practically. I'll have lots of clients and students who were chaotic in their orientation to life. They didn't know what to do, and they didn't know what to do about not knowing what to do. It's like, I don't know what to do with my life, and I don't know what to do about my ignorance. And my reaction to that, in some sense, wasn't exactly the reaction of a clinician, because not a typical clinician, because typical clinicians are liberal Protestant in their fundamental orientation, and they tend to think of psychological development as something like self-actualization, right? It's really a self-development process. But that wasn't my observation, partly influenced by the developmental psychologist Jean Piaget, I had a more communitarian view of human development than that. And my observation was that most people find the cardinal meanings in their life not as a consequence of the development of their self, whatever that is, but in service to other people, in the adoption of responsibility. You know, because you're told, be responsible, and it's a finger-wagging thing again, you know, that if you were a good person, you be responsible, you do your duty. But no one ever says, well, because that's where you find the abiding meaning in your life, and you need that meaning to sustain you through suffering. And that's definitely the case. You know, I was very ill for a number of years, and a lot of what got me through that wasn't my own special nature, let's say, but the support of my family and the support of my friends and the support of the broader community. It made a huge difference, not only psychologically, because I knew people were supporting me, but also practically. You build yourself a community. You sacrifice yourself in the service of other people, not so much because you should, although you should, but because that is where meaning is to be found, and you need a deep meaning to sustain you through tragedy. That's the arc. And you find that deep meaning, and you know, there's the notion that it's better to give to receive than to receive, and it sounds like a Hallmark greeting card in some sense. And people are cynical about that too. Well, yeah, you say that because you should be good and think that. But if you watch yourself, you'll see that it's true, because one of the things that's been really pronounced element in my life is that, you know, people thank me from time to time for things that I've done or said. And there isn't a better experience than that, you know, that you've put something out that's actually a manifestation of what you truly believe, and the consequence of that is part of the redemptive process for someone else. There is nothing that's better than that. Zero. Nothing. In fact, I don't think there's anything that's even in the same conceptual universe of that in terms of its intrinsically rewarding properties. There's nothing better than to have people, perhaps particularly people you've never met, tell you that what you have been doing has had a salutary effect on their lives. And so that's a hell of a fine thing to aim for. And why not aim for it, you know? Because you could do it. If you put, I wouldn't even say necessarily that you put other people first, because I think that's a mistake, but I do think it's the case that you treat other people in the manner that you would wish to be treated if you were treating yourself properly. And that's also a sophisticated thing, right? To learn to treat yourself properly. Because that doesn't mean you get to fulfill every momentary whim, because that's what you do when you're 2, and 2-year-olds can't live without their parents. You know, you have to be wise enough to govern your current behavior in light of the future. And that's really what it means to be an adult. It's what it means to forestall gratification and to attain the responsibility of an adult. And the reason that you should do that, because you should, is because it's actually better, you know, in all ways. It's a panacea for suffering to adopt that responsibility. And so I would tell my clients and students as well, it's like, well, let's just take a look at where other people find meaning. You know, and we'll see how your life matches with that. Do you have an intimate relationship? Yes or no? The right answer is yes. Now, maybe not for you, and maybe you don't right now, and maybe you have your reasons not to because you're a singular person in that regard, but probably not. Because that's like a third of life. And so if you don't have that, that might be one of the reasons you're not doing so well. And the fact that you don't have it might be an indication that you're not oriented in the proper direction. Oh, I can give you an example of that. I had many people question me when I was just on tour. This is a question that came up quite rapidly, often in the Q&A sessions. How do I find the right person when I'm dating? How do I find the person who's right for me when I'm dating? And I got that, or on the internet, I got that question like 3 times in a row, and I thought, because I always think this, what about that question? What's wrong with that question? Something wrong with that question. How about, how do I conduct myself so that I am the best possible partner? Now that's a whole different, right? That's a whole different conceptual universe, and virtually no one ever asked that question. And I would say, well, if you want an answer to the first question, which is how do I find the person who's right for me, you actually start by asking the second question, which is what can I bring to the table for someone else? And if you're really good at bringing something to the table for someone else, hey man, people might be lining up to be your partner. And if they're not, then you might think, well, maybe I'm just not bringing the right thing to the table. And that's worth thinking, especially if you're desperate, you're lost, and you're alone. It's like, maybe I got this wrong. And I usually sort of top that with the suggestion that even if you did find the person who was perfect for you, and they're that perfect, what makes you think they wouldn't take one look at you and run screaming away? And they likely would if they were that perfect, because, really, are you that much of a catch? And if you think you are, you know, that might be part of the problem. So look, so that's one, right? Intimate relationship. So I would say to you at the Crossroads, develop a vision for your relationship. You know, there's a gospel saying, which is, of course, impossible to comprehend or believe. Knock and the door will open, ask and you will receive, seek and you will find. And people think, well, no way, the world's not constituted like that. It's like, it goes back to the idea of aim. If you don't aim at it, you're not going to hit it. And you know, it might also go back to a question about what do you mean by ask and what do you mean by want? Because it isn't just some casual request. You know, you're praying to God, I wish I could find my wallet or something like that, as if he's the casual granter of magical wishes, like a fairy with a magic wand. You know, it's not that. Asking means something like this: I am willing to give up everything that I'm doing wrong so that I can put things right, if I could know what right was. And that's you're on your knees when you say that, man. And maybe if you're on your knees, you get the answer. And so that's worth thinking about. So, you know, if you knocked and you wanted to walk through and you asked and you wanted to learn, you know, and you sought because you wanted to find, maybe you would receive and be answered and find, but not without aim. And so I might say, well, look, if you could have the relationship you wanted, you get to have the relationship you want and need. But you have to know what it is. And so then you need a vision of that. It's like, and a developed vision, you know. Not, I need to find the person right for me. It's like, what do you mean by that? You know, how are you going to treat your partner when they come home from work? How about something that concrete? Or how would you like to be treated when you come home from work? Or what sort of partner do you want in relationship to their attitude towards children? You have to make it real, you know, like it's the story of your own life, which, by the way, it is. And then maybe you find it, because at least once you've developed the vision, if it manifests itself, you'll recognize it. That's something. So then you need an intimate relationship. Well, why don't you set your family right? No, you need siblings. Maybe you don't have them. Set your relationship with your parents right. Fix your relationship with your father, with your mother, with your siblings. The same thing. And then what sort of relationship do you want to have with your children? You know, if you could have what you wanted. I have a very good relationship with my children. My daughter, as I said, was very ill, so that made things complicated. But I had a great relationship, and still do, with my son. It's one of the lights of my life. And we concentrated on making that relationship pristine, you know, both of us, and my wife as well. And so you imagine, well, I want my son to love me. I want my son to respect me, and vice versa. I want a child who can make mature decisions. I want someone I can rely on. I want someone who other people gravitate towards. Because I can have what I want if I'm willing to make the proper sacrifices. And so that's a good thing. Could you set your family straight? Well, you need a job or a career. So what can you offer, and what can you bring the world in that regard? And then I would say, well, if you're thinking about career success in this Tower of Babel manner, then that's a temptation. But you might think, well, how much good could I do if I had the opportunity in the shortest possible period of time, if I went all in? And then there's an aim, man, there's an aim. And then you might think, well, what would that look like? You know, if I was a light to my community, if I was a light to the people I work with, who would I be if I was like that? And then you can conceptualize that, and you can see when you deviate from it, and why couldn't you correct for the deviations and move towards that? And then you might say, well, are you going to make productive use of your time outside of work? Productive and generous use of your time? Productive, generous, and meaningful use of your time. How about that? You're going to control your susceptibility to temptation, regulate your alcohol and drug use, because alcoholism takes out lots of people. Regulate your sexual temptation, can control yourself for some reason that's worth controlling yourself for. You know, because there's something to being sybaritic. There's at least the momentary pleasure. It's not nothing. And you're not going to sacrifice that, if you have any sense, unless you sacrifice it to something clearly better. You know, this is classic clinical finding with regards to alcoholics. The only cure we know for alcoholism is religious transformation. Even the hardcore secular researchers know that. They don't know why, but they know that's the case. And part of the reason for that is that if you're an alcoholic, you really like alcohol. It's an anti-anxiety agent of potency, and it's a stimulant. It's a great drug. And so once you have a great drug, a great spirit, let's say, You need something better to replace it with. And maybe you can find something better. It appears that way because people do, and then they stop drinking. And so, and then there's service, civic service to your community. You know, I've been thinking about church lately. People have abandoned the churches and vice versa in many ways. And people think, you know, I can't believe what the church teaches. It's like, first of all, who cares what you believe? Like, who are you anyways? Right? Well, really, it's like I'm 16. I don't like what the church teaches. Yeah, that's who you are. You're the judge of the church, and you're 16. And that's like, that's commonplace. I know it's funny, but it's not, because that's a commonplace. That was certainly me at 16. Who could believe that? You know, I'm above that. It's like, really? Here's this 15-year-old juvenile delinquent from northern Alberta, and it's like, who cares about St. Augustine anyways? You know, what did he know? So, yeah, so civic duty. Well, I'm not going to go into politics because it's a snake pit, you know, or maybe you're cynical about social institutions. It's like, well, go fix them. Right? You know, that'll give you something to do. If they're so wrecked, great. Well, it's an opportunity. You see something broken, fix it. And then you're the person who fixes it. Like, good for you, man. It's like you got something to do. Really? And then people think, hey, you're the guy that fixed that. Maybe you could fix this, and this, and this, and this. And then you fix things, and your life just expands, you know. I guess I'll tell you, too, something about telling the truth. It's one thing I did in 1985, 82, 83, 82. I swore that I would stop lying. I said, I'm going to try not to say anything I know to be untrue. You know, that doesn't mean I swore to tell the truth, because truth, that's hard. But you can consciously stop lying when you know you're lying. You can stop doing that. And that has been revolutionary for me. And one of the things I've really realized in recent years, and this is very much worth knowing, is that many times when people speak to each other, they have an agenda in mind, you know. You want something from someone, maybe you want a job, and you want to craft your image to get the job, right? So you say what you need to say to get what you think you need. The problem with that is, what do you know about what you need? You're so accurate about that, are you? And you think you know what you need exactly, and so you're going to falsify your utterances to bring about the desired end, and you're going to use the other person as a target of your manipulation. Well, that's like you write an essay because that's what the professor wants to hear. It's like you don't do that because you don't falsify your words, because hypothetically they're divine and the whole stability of the state rests on them, hypothetically, and maybe really too. And so you don't do that. And so instead you strive to tell the truth, and maybe that's an aim too. And then it's an adventure, because I'll tell you one thing, if you tell the truth, you have no idea what's going to happen to you. Because you have to let go of that. It's like, I'm going to say what I think, and then what I'm going to assume, faith, I'm going to assume that whatever happens, if I am telling the truth, is the best thing that could happen. Because the truth brings about what is best. And even if it looks hard for me, because it might be, you know, because people take the easy way out often when they lie, even if it looks bad for me, that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means I don't see the whole picture. And you know, if you believe that the truth will set you free and that there is such a thing as the truth and that the truth is redemptive, then you're pretty much stuck with that conclusion. But one of the remarkable things about that, and this really is worth knowing, is that if you do that, you will have your adventure. Right? That's the Abrahamic adventure, you know? The call from God that justifies your life because of the excitement of what you're doing. And the truth does that. And then if it's the truth, man, it's your adventure. Because what bloody adventure are you having if you tell someone else's story? It's not yours. And maybe if it's not yours, it's not good enough for you. And then you suffer, and then you're bitter, and then you're cruel, and then you're resentful. That's not good, or you get arrogant. So you break up your life, you know, into practicalities, your career, your education, your intimate relationship, your marriage, your friendship. Hopefully your intimate relationship and your marriage are the same thing. Your use of time outside work, your civic duty, you know, and you develop an image for yourself, a vision for yourself on all those fronts, and assume that you can have, with the proper sacrifices, what you need and want. And then I'll say something interesting about that, because that's the pursuit of goods in a practical way, right? And what's valuable in a practical way, in an implementable way. And you pick those pathways and you dedicate yourself to their optimization along any of those axes. And then you learn to optimize an aim. And then you see, once you've learned to optimize an aim across a set of goods, you start to aim at what unites those goods. Because that's what makes goods good. It's whatever is common across a set of goods. That's the highest good or a higher good. And so by practicing any good in any rigorous sense and making the proper sacrifices in that direction, you simultaneously learn to approach the good that is the sum or the essence of all those proximal goods. And I would say that the essential insistence in Christianity is that the good that unites all those goods is the same good that's reflected in the image of Christ, which is an image of acceptance of the suffering of life and the necessity of serving the lowest as the highest calling. And that's something, and it might be true, like really, actually, 100% true, more true than anything else, and I actually think it is, partly because the freest societies that we have, that the world's ever known, the more successful societies, are predicated on precisely that idea as an unshakable foundation, a self-evident truth in the case of your country. And so it might be true, and if it is true, and if that is real, then why in the world would you ever attempt to do anything else? And it's kind of earth-shattering in some sense to take this with real seriousness, you know. It's all very frightening. If you're not afraid of that vision, you know, and what it implies for you and your soul, then you didn't understand it. But it's also an unbelievably, what would you say, endlessly promising vision of what your life could be. And you know, you might think, well, I need a life so rich that I can justify its suffering. And that's really asking for something, because there's no shortage of suffering in life. And no one thinks their own suffering isn't real. And maybe there's a possibility that there's some aim that's so high that the attempt alone to move in that direction is of sufficient value to act as a panacea for the suffering. And so you could say at the end of your life, oh my God, that was so hard. It was worth it. And so that's the choice you make at the crossroads. If you have any sense, oh, thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you very much. The talent. Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Hillsdale College and with the authority vested in me by its Board of Trustees, I confer upon Jordan B. Peterson the honorary degree Doctor of Humane Letters. Thank you, sir. What a talent. You know, it's very difficult to do this so it's good for them.
That's amen.
Good, amen. Jessica. Bill Atherton was on our Board of Trustees for, it must be 40 years. I think it's even a little longer than that. He's from Oklahoma City. He's went to Oklahoma State. He's from Tulsa. He's been in every kind of business, the oil business, the food business, Pepsi, Taco Hut. He's generous with the college and generous with his time and counsel, and it's the time and counsel that makes an impression. Because, when I came here, there were certain complications. And he was extremely helpful with those. He's a wise man and a fine man. Now, he can't be here today, but he has sacrificed his daughter to us. She is now on the Board of Trustees of the college. And he wants her to carry on, and she's up to it. And so to receive the honorary degree, Doctor of Public Service, for Bill Atherton, Jessica Faubert. And Bill, if you're watching, I'll make the obvious comment, thank God you married a pretty woman. Senior class president is Jacob Hooper. Get up here, Jacob. Hey, stay there. I think this is my 23rd time doing that, and I think I've got that wrong every time. The Hillsdale College Chamber Choir.
Eternity we have once enjoyed, we can never lose. A sunset, a mountain bathed in moonlight, the ocean calm and in storm receives love and beauty. Hold the vision to our hearts. Hold the vision to our hearts, so that day and daily life is overlord of death. Life is overlord of death. Life is stronger than death. And
Now it's time, Hooper. Where are you? Oh, he's up here. Wow, he's prepared. Unlike me. Jacob is the senior class president. He's a history major. He's in all the, great job, by the way, choir. Well done. Jordan Peterson is very impressed with the music around here. So they're going to have music now, I can see, at Ralston College. We'll help them. Jacob is a fine young man, good and easy to work with. His teachers tell me some funny stories about him, but they're not my stories, so I'm not going to read them. He's in the Federalist Society and the Catholic Society and mocked all the lawyer stuff. And of course, he's an Eagle Scout. And he's going to George Mason University Law School, Jacob Hooper.
Thank you, Dr. Arnn. Thank you to all who join us today. Dr. Arnn, Dr. Peterson, the platform party, faculty and staff, family and friends, and of course, my class of 2022. But there's one more person in particular that I would like to thank. Dr. Patricia Bart. Could you please stand up? There she is. Dr. Barr, keep standing. Please stand back up. My freshman year, I took your great books class. Yes, I did. And early on in the semester, you had us turn in an annotated bibliography for a research paper that we wanted to write. I know you remember that. In fact, you didn't give me the infamous C that we all feared. You gave me a D-. You can imagine I was mortified by the grade at the time, but through your hard work, and actually a lot of guidance, but hard work on my end, so I flipped those, I was able to get a B+ on the final research paper. So in other words, your boy bounced back. Thank you, Dr. Bart. You're good. Now, at our freshman convocation, Dr. Arnn told us a lot, but he specifically told us to get your boots on. And after I received that D-, I knew he was being serious. But that experience reminded me of 2 rules that I used to recite every week when I was a Boy Scout. In fact, these rules are the final words of the Boy Scout oath: mentally awake and morally straight. Now, for us Hillsdale students, staying mentally awake requires a little bit more than just surviving a classroom lecture, especially if it's coming from Dr. Gaetano. He got Professor of the Year, so I can make the joke. But staying mentally awake requires us to continue learning outside of the classroom and throughout our adult lives, just like with what Dr. Peterson was telling us. In fact, Hillsdale alumnus Paul Ray, who's one of my role models, once gave me an excellent piece of advice. He said to take a book every day and had to have nothing to do with your job and just read it for 20 minutes. And by doing that, you'll learn something new. But in order to do that, we have to have this inherent desire to learn and to expand our knowledge. Hillsdale's given that to us. And there are many examples on campus of how we already expanded our knowledge. Take, for example, Shane Smith. Recently, he published an article in the Nature Astronomy Journal about how to use radio technology to detect extraterrestrial life. He put the fun back in physics. But our desire to expand our intellect will also allow us to disseminate and articulate ideas that will protect and expand our religious and civil liberties. And many of us here today will be hard at work doing that. Some of us by staffing our hospitals, like Matt Granzato, going to seminary and leading our congregations like John Biscaro and Mason Bailey, and teaching the next generation the Western heritage, like Julia O'Neill. Continuing to learn and thereby staying mentally awake is a fundamental step to achieving self-government. Now, Hillsdale has taught us a lot about how to rise to self-government, but it takes a little bit more than just book smarts. It requires the practical knowledge to solve everyday problems that we will certainly face. The best example of this that I can think of is understanding the basic maintenance of a car. Who's laughing at that? That's not funny. Back when I was a sophomore, I went to Supercuts, which might be a surprise because I am almost bald under this cap. But I drive there in my car, Katie, the GMC Acadia. And I love her dearly. She's seen a lot. She has about 300,000 miles. Now, after I got the hot towel treatment at Supercuts, I went back into the car, I turned the key over, and nothing happened. And I sat there. I didn't know what to do. I was an idiot at that point. So I called my dad. And luckily, my dad was able to drive down from Grand Rapids, and he was able to bail me out. He took a screwdriver and a new mass airflow sensor, a part that's about this big, and he put it in the car that night in the parking lot. And I stood by and watched him do it. I felt useless. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even know I needed just a screwdriver for it. That experience taught me that I needed to take responsibility for the maintenance of my vehicle. And at that point, self-government wasn't a theory for me anymore. It was a dying Katie. It's on us to learn how to solve practical problems like diagnosing car trouble and how to use the basic tools that we need to fix them. Taking those steps to learn how to solve practical problems in addition to book smarts is staying mentally awake. And that will bring us closer to self-government, but not all the way. We still need that second rule, to stay morally straight. And one of the best ways to do this is to honor our parents, who have done so much to ensure we have been successful and that we are doing well. My own parents have done so much to make sure that I got here today. They cooked my food. They helped me with my homework. They pushed my learning. They offer constructive feedback, like when they told me to stop lumbering around at the baccalaureate mass this morning. They offered me guidance when I was deciding between a couple of colleges, and thankfully I ended here and not in Ann Arbor. And my mom even accompanied me to court when I got a speeding ticket on a first date. Now, I won the case, just to flex on y'all, but there was no second date. I'm sure many of you feel the same way about your parents. I know my younger brother Benjamin can say the same thing. My two aunts can say the same thing about my grandparents. I certainly would not be able to stand in front of you on this stage today if it were not for my mom and dad. I will always be indebted to them. I told my mom she wasn't going to be able to make it through my speech without crying, and I can see her back there, and her face is pretty red. So, likewise with our parents, we must tend to the relationships we have formed amongst our classmates. Really, you people here, not over here. You're too old. Now, I have a solid group of friends that I've lived with for the last 4 years. We call ourselves the Monastery. We call ourselves that name because 3 of us are Catholic, and the 4th one, Ben Wilson, is a work in progress. Now, when I first came to Hillsdale, I thought I was the best Catholic around, partly because in my little Dutch town of Hudsonville, there were no other Catholics. But upon meeting the other 2 Catholic members of the monastery, David Strobach and Brant Siegfried, I saw that their faith eclipsed mine. Brant teaches children at St. Anthony's, and he has hosted various small groups during his time here on campus. This past year, David Strobach was the president of Catholic Society. He read the prayer this morning at the baccalaureate mass, and he has been instrumental to providing fundamental ministry resources for the Catholic population on this campus. But not only did they know more about their faith, they lived it out every day. Their example helped me strengthen my own faith and helped me understand it better. That impact will follow me for the rest of my life. And then there's Ben Wilson. Now, I can't make fun of him today because his parents are allegedly sitting in the front row. I gotta be careful because I don't want his dad making funny faces at me. But we have spent a lot of time together. We went to DC on WIP. We pretended to be prospective students at Siena Heights University last week. But through those little excursions outside of Hillsdale, whether it was in DC or a college visit, we learned to be grateful for all that we have here. Not only for our faculty who care for us, but for our friends who desire the best out of us. Now, Hillsdale has formed many tight-knit friendships around here, and they go well past my little monastery crew. Take, for example, Carter Woodland and James Voshelishin. The latter has 3 Y's in his last name. And I said it right. So whoever was screaming over there, thank you. I need that support. Now, they've lived in Simpson for all 4 years, and they got their friendship started over pep band. If you go over to the collegiate office, there's Reagan Genchieski and Rachel Cookagee, who've been able to bond over their also tongue-twisting last names. In fact, Reagan's name is so difficult, she's using her mom's maiden name, Reese, as her journalism byline. Now, we all have close friends, and it's critical that we maintain the bonds that we have formed on this campus. After all, we're social beings. But here at Hillsdale, we are meant to be together as a family. And more importantly, we are meant to achieve self-government together. That is staying morally straight. Here at the college, faculty like Dr. Bart, and on the other side of the height spectrum, but just as intimidating, Dr. Kaltoff, they have done so much to ensure we have received an excellent education. Now, if we try to stay mentally awake and not woke before anyone on the politics department gets on my case about that, not woke, but if you stay mentally awake and morally straight, not only will you expand your Hillsdale education, but you will come as close as humanly possible to obtaining self-government. And along the way, you'll set down a path and live an example for others to follow for the same end. In other words, keep your boots on.
Excellent job, Jacob. Hoop. I'm supposed to call him Hoop. Can't get used to that. Will the candidates for doctoral degree please stand and remain standing? Will the candidates for master's degrees please stand and remain standing? And will the senior class of 2022 please stand? Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Hillsdale College and with the authority of its Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the degree for which you have been a candidate and admit you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities to which you are entitled and obliged. Congratulations. So the doctoral and master's degrees in politics is first, and then after that the master's degrees in government, and then we'll get to you young ones.
Would the doctoral candidates from the Van Andel School of Political Philosophy, Statesmanship, come forward. Sarah Jane Akey, Doctor of Philosophy, Politics. Moritz Peter Muken, Doctor of Philosophy, Politics. Casey J. Wheatland, Doctor of Philosophy, Politics. Would the candidates for master's degrees come forward? Caleb Boyer, Master of Arts, Politics. Jacob Andrew Bruns, Master of Arts, Politics. Hey, you made it. Nicholas Callahan, Master of Arts, Politics. Paul Andrew Kluel, Master of Arts, Politics. Lily Ann Duncan, Master of Arts, Politics. Nathaniel Espenshade, Master of Arts, Politics. Brian Janssen Freimuth, Master of Arts, Politics. Caleb Gabriel Itterly, Master of Arts, Politics. Samuel Layer, Master of Arts, Politics. Josiah Lippincott, Master of Arts, Politics. Nathan Neveu, Master of Arts, Politics. Christina Marie Slipke, Master of Arts, Politics. Christian Warner, Master of Arts, Politics. Sarah Weaver, Master of Arts, Politics. Would the candidates for the master's degree from the Van Andel School of Government come forward? Caitlin Alcee Burke, Master of Arts, Government. Stephen David Schaefer, Master of Arts, Government. Bridget Christina Weisenberger, Master of Arts, Government. Would the candidates for the bachelor's degree in accounting please come forward? Jeremiah Jonah Cisternas Tews, Bachelor of Arts, Accounting, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Accounting. Owen Thomas Williams, Bachelor of Arts, Accounting. Abigail Alois Burns, Bachelor of Arts, Accounting, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Accounting. Carissa Lee Henderson, Bachelor of Arts, Accounting, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Accounting. Alexi Autumn Day, Bachelor of Arts, Accounting, Departmental Honors in Accounting. Anaya Jessica Varamis, Bachelor of Arts, Accounting. Blake Kirk Hawkins, Bachelor of Arts, Accounting. Would the candidates for the degree in American Studies come forward? Anna Kate Josette Reagan, Bachelor of Arts, American Studies. Danae Rebecca Burdett, Bachelor of Arts, American Studies, magna cum laude. Would the candidates for the degree in Applied Mathematics come forward? Mason Keith Dooley, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics, magna cum laude. Christiana Lemoyne, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics and Biology, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Biology. Benjamin Aiden Hufford, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics, summa cum laude. Jean-Luc P. Beloncle, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics and Economics, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Economics and Mathematics. Aaron James Jacobson, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Mathematics. Adam Robert Stacy, Bachelor of Arts, Applied Mathematics, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Mathematics. Lily Christina Van Wingerden, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics, cum laude, Departmental Honors, Mathematics. Carl Joseph Weisenberger, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Mathematics. Would the candidates for the degree in art come forward? Madeline Ashton Scheider, Bachelor of Science, Art and Biology, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Art and Biology. Alora Jo Gage, Bachelor of Arts, Art, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Art. Grace Helen Cool, Bachelor of Science, Art, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Art. Ashton Ruth Mills, Bachelor of Arts, Art. Shannon Christopher Peterson, Bachelor of Arts, Art. Reagan Catherine Lindy, Bachelor of Arts, Art and Politics, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Art. Would the candidates for the degree in biochemistry come forward? Alexander Anschutz, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, summa cum laude. Benjamin Lawrence Gendix, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, Departmental Honors, Biochemistry. Ross Marvin Feldposch, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, magna cum laude. Cade Ray McGarvey, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Biochemistry. James Michael McClure, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry. Morgan Elizabeth Cox, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, cum laude, Departmental Honors, Biochemistry. Patricia Lee Becker, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, cum laude. Matthew Joseph Granzato, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Biochemistry. Madison Tally Anderson, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Biochemistry. Sonia Renee Workus, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Biochemistry. Jane Frances DeSalle, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Biochemistry. Catherine Rachel Ingham, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Biochemistry. Claire Frances McNally, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Biochemistry. Molly Janae Bucola, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Biochemistry. Rachel Julianne Gans, Bachelor of Science, Biochemistry. Would the candidates for the degree in biology come forward? Claire Cecilia Froman, Bachelor of Science, Biology and Exercise Science, cum laude. Emma Brennan Shea, Bachelor of Science, Biology, magna cum laude. Melissa Beth Weaver, Bachelor of Science, Biology. Kiara Jean Coselli, Bachelor of Science, Biology and Psychology, summa cum laude, departmental honors in both biology and psychology. Brian David Hickey, Bachelor of Science, Biology, magna cum laude. Lucas William Fedderson, Bachelor of Science, Biology and Exercise Science, magna cum laude, departmental honors in biology. Corinne Elizabeth Wegner, Bachelor of Science, Biology. Thank you. Jared Michael Clark, Bachelor of Science, Biology, magna cum laude. Jack Douglas Shannon, Bachelor of Science, Biology. Maxwell Christian Boyle, Bachelor of Science, Biology. Jack Miller Reinhardt, Bachelor of Science, Biology, summa cum laude, departmental honors in biology. Megan Elizabeth Phelps, Bachelor of Science, Biology, cum laude. Rose Garrison Coster, Bachelor of Science, Biology, class valedictorian, summa cum laude, departmental honors in biology. Sydney Lynn Crawford, Bachelor of Science, Biology. Faith Amber Linton, Bachelor of Science, Biology, magna cum laude, departmental honors in biology. Daniel Seamus Vodel, Bachelor of Science, Biology. Noah Willard Utes, Bachelor of Science, Biology. Would the candidates for the degree in chemistry come forward? Lauren Carolyn Benson, Bachelor of Arts, Chemistry, magna cum laude. Genevieve Grace Griffin, Bachelor of Science, Chemistry, magna cum laude, departmental honors in chemistry. Kyla Marie Schnell, Bachelor of Science, Chemistry, magna cum laude, departmental honors in chemistry. Adam Barry Ware, Bachelor of Science, Chemistry, magna cum laude, departmental honors in chemistry. Cliff L. Yang, Bachelor of Science, Chemistry, valedictorian, summa cum laude, departmental honors in chemistry. Would the candidates for degree in classics come forward? Lindy Grace Leatherwood, Bachelor of Arts, Classics, cum laude. Claire Morgan Wilkinson, Bachelor of Arts, Classics, magna cum laude. Anne Kathleen Rolfe, Bachelor of Arts, Greek and Latin, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Classics. Elizabeth Nancy Hughes, Bachelor of Arts, Latin, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Classics. Ambrose Joseph Bykirk, Bachelor of Arts in Greek and Latin, cum laude. Hope Shiwang Ladd, Bachelor of Arts, Greek and Latin, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Classics. Would the candidates for the degree in economics come forward? Kevin Michael Sheesh Stucker, Bachelor of Arts, Economics, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Economics. John Vincent Ortman, Bachelor of Science, Economics. Jackson Daniel Kosnick, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Sarah Ashley Strauss, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Ava A. Hill, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Rachel Mutje Kiti, Bachelor of Science, Economics and Mathematics, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Economics. Jack James Shelley, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Joshua Caleb Antonini, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Conrad Roland Ludwig, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics and Economics, Departmental Honors in Economics. Danielle Marie Bagensky, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Mary Kate Brox, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics and Economics, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Economics. Benjamin Luke Beese, Bachelor of Arts, Applied Mathematics and Economics, summa cum laude. Tavio Alexanders Pella, Bachelor of Arts, Economics and Philosophy, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Economics. Preston Bruce Baker, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Lucia May Catcher, Bachelor of Arts, Economics and French, magna cum laude. Vera Katura James McIntosh, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Jonathan David Bauman, Bachelor of Arts, Economics and German, magna cum laude. Benjamin William Bauer, Bachelor of Arts, Economics and German, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Economics. Hai Tri Viet Nguyen, Bachelor of Science, Economics and Mathematics, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Economics. Thomas Stephen Rogers, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Thomas Garen Bersher, Bachelor of Arts, Economics, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Economics. Drew Carson Godsell, Bachelor of Arts, Economics and German, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Economics. Andrew Joseph Walker, Bachelor of Arts, Economics, magna cum laude, departmental honors in economics. Jillian Alexandra Jordan, Bachelor of Arts, Economics and Politics. Hannah Noel Fleming, Bachelor of Arts, Economics, cum laude. Isabel Jennifer Maciejewski, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Andrew Christopher Giovanetti, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Lauren Hallie Daffenberg, Bachelor of Science, Economics and Mathematics, summa cum laude, departmental honors in economics. Andrew James Nell, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Anthony Raymond Lamacchia, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Michael Sean Edward Craig, Bachelor of Science, Economics, magna cum laude, departmental honors in economics. Sophia Jo Spinazzi, Bachelor of Arts, Economics and Politics, summa cum laude, departmental honors in economics. Caroline Gail Shelton, Bachelor of Arts, Economics. Joseph Michael Bentley, Bachelor of Arts, Economics, cum laude, departmental honors in economics. Joseph Thaddeus Hissam, Bachelor of Arts, Economics and History. English. Candidates in English, please come forward. Morgan Alexis Billingsley, Bachelor of Arts, English, magna cum laude. Grayson May Howard, Bachelor of Arts, English. Alexandra Edna Mary Ryder, Bachelor of Arts, English. Congrats. Elizabeth Grace Johnson, Bachelor of Arts, English, magna cum laude. Claire Catherine Kearns, Bachelor of Arts, English, magna cum laude. Megan Jane Kepke, Bachelor of Arts, English. Allison Ann Moss, Bachelor of Arts, English and Latin, summa cum laude. Isabella Ann Hedrick, Bachelor of Science, English. Susanna Christiana Green, Bachelor of Arts, English. Lydia Joy Paroline, Bachelor of Arts, English, cum laude from the class of 2020. Good job. Matthew Stoller McGrory, Bachelor of Science, English. Oh, God. Daniel Paul Wrongley, Bachelor of Arts, English. Seth Dean Ram, Bachelor of Arts, English. Natalie Kalia Kent, Bachelor of Arts, English, cum laude. Madeline Olivia Bray, Bachelor of Arts, English. Mari Therese Wellenmeyer, Bachelor of Arts, English, cum laude. Helen Mariah Murdoch, Bachelor of Arts, English, summa cum laude. Hannah Marie Breeding, Bachelor of Arts, English, cum laude. Another one. Matisse Richard Beloncle, Bachelor of Arts, English and Economics, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Economics. Elena Grace Naborowski, Bachelor of Arts, English. Anais Katja Cliff, Bachelor of Arts, English. Ashley Christina Warden, Bachelor of Arts, English, cum laude. Sydney Elizabeth Tone, Bachelor of Science, English, summa cum laude. Shelby Alexandra Tone, Bachelor of Science, English, summa cum laude. Shelby Noel Hufford, Bachelor of Arts, English, magna cum laude. Kathleen Mary Brannigan, Bachelor of Arts, English, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in English. April Elizabeth Smith, Bachelor of Arts, English and Music, cum laude. Sophia Judith Maeda, Bachelor of Arts, English, cum laude. Victoria Grace Nunez, Bachelor of Arts, English, cum laude. Grace Noel Bennett, Bachelor of Arts, English. Jamie Marie Borma, Bachelor of Arts, English. What? Greta Lynn Dornbeer, Bachelor of Arts, English, magna cum laude. Would the candidates in exercise science come forward? Taylor Kate Boyle, Bachelor of Science, exercise science. Okay. Zelania Giselle Claire Eby, Bachelor of Science, exercise science. Alana Marie O'Leary, Bachelor of Science, exercise science, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Kate Overman, Bachelor of Arts, exercise science, magna cum laude. Jacob Wells Hamilton, Bachelor of Arts, exercise science. Brett James Parks, Bachelor of Science, exercise science. Gabriel Alexander Nichols, Bachelor of Science, exercise science, cum laude. Hey, big fella. Austin Christopher Yarian, Bachelor of Science, exercise science. Financial management, right? Candidates in financial management come forward. Tavon Anthony Brown, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management. Nathaniel David William Chambers, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management. Kyle Peter Nybor, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. Calvin Winthrop Andrews, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management. Francis Calvin McNelly, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management and Politics, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. Nolan James Sullivan, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. Benjamin Lewis Raffin, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management. Thank you. Andrew Rocco Chefs, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. Nathan David Bruhan, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. Tanner Caton Motsky, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. Shane Steger Senk, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. Apollo Johannes Mettler, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. David Brady Hunter, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. John Luke Hawk, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. Ian Alexander Kenrick, Bachelor of Science, Financial Management, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Financial Management. John Thomas McCarthy, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management. Matthew Lewis Harding, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, magna cum laude. Alec Thomas Foos, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, cum laude. Cole Thomas Johnson, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management, summa cum laude. Joseph Richard Royer, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management. Kyle Perrin, Bachelor of Arts, Financial Management. Would the candidates for the degree in French come forward? Mariana Elizabeth Sestaro, Bachelor of Arts, French, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in French. Peter John Curtis, Bachelor of Arts, French. Would the candidates for the degree in German come forward? Maximilian Joseph Zacconi, Bachelor of Arts, German and History. Jacob Levi Likens, Bachelor of Arts, English and German. Alexander Richard Buchheit, Bachelor of Arts, German and History, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in German. History? Candidates for the degree in history come forward. Here we go. Brant Christopher Siegfried, Bachelor of Arts, History, magna cum laude. All right. Jacob Michael Hooper, Bachelor of Arts, History, magna cum laude. David Jason Strobach, Bachelor of Arts, History and Philosophy and Religion, magna cum laude. Brennan Thomas Knockleby, Bachelor of Arts, History and Religion. Ethan Edward Buer, Bachelor of Arts, History, cum laude. Blake Thomas Newberry, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics and History. Spencer Lawrence Woodford, Bachelor of Arts, History. Ryan Scott Perkins, Bachelor of Arts, History. Carter Ross Woodland, Bachelor of Arts, History, cum laude. Joshua Jerome Moore, Bachelor of Science, History. Congratulations. Jacob Carlisle Crosley, Bachelor of Arts, History, magna cum laude. John Patrick Joseph Rowe, Bachelor of Arts, History and Politics, summa cum laude. Michael McClelland Devery Fleischer, Bachelor of Arts, History, magna cum laude. Andrew David Hicks, Bachelor of Arts, History. John Alexander Biscaro, Bachelor of Arts, History, magna cum laude. William Augustine Smith, Bachelor of Arts, History. Paul Thomas Kerrigan, Bachelor of Arts, History. Paul Joseph Tinkle, Bachelor of Arts, History. Kai Alexander Panethier, Bachelor of Arts, History. Harvey William Peters, Bachelor of Arts, History, summa cum laude. John Wyatt Burrows, Bachelor of Science, History and Mathematics, summa cum laude. Antonis Robert Lausius, Bachelor of Arts, History, summa cum laude. Marissa Lorraine Fairbank, Bachelor of Science, History and Psychology, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Psychology. Stephanie Lynn Sukup, Bachelor of Arts, English and History, summa cum laude. Eliana Dorisa Kernodal, Bachelor of Arts, History, summa cum laude. Christine Lyons Talent, Bachelor of Arts, History, summa cum laude. Lila Sarah Stillman, Bachelor of Arts, History. Jane Austin O'Connor, Bachelor of Arts, History, summa cum laude. I'm glad this is goodbye. Penny Ann Heipel, Bachelor of Arts, History, cum laude. Lauren Hill Hearn, Bachelor of Arts, History, cum laude. that was quick. Alia Sage Crippen, Bachelor of Arts, History, cum laude. All right. Emily Marie Bricky, Bachelor of Arts, History, cum laude. Sarah Marie Johnson, Bachelor of Arts, German and History, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in History. Rebecca Colleen Felton, Bachelor of Arts, History, class salutatorian, summa cum laude. Sean Nicholas O'Day, Bachelor of Arts, History, magna cum laude. Lauren Evelyn Melanson, Bachelor of Arts, History, magna cum laude. Sophia Margaret Berryhill, Bachelor of Science, History, magna cum laude. Luke Christopher Morey, Bachelor of Arts, History. Juan Camilo Vargas Hernandez, Bachelor of Arts, History, cum laude. Alexandra Nicole Steinhausler, Heusler, 3 times the charm. Bachelor of Arts, History. I couldn't. Yeah. Anna Lane Clark, Bachelor of Arts, History, summa cum laude. Would the candidates in international business come forward? Benjamin Ross Garfinkel, Bachelor of Arts, International Business and Foreign Language, Departmental Honors in International Business and Foreign Language. John Connor Pearson, Bachelor of Arts, International Business, Foreign Language, cum laude. International Relations? Would the candidates in International Relations come forward? Jacob Wayne Umholtz, Bachelor of Arts, International Relations, cum laude. Mary Aloysius Greco, Bachelor of Arts, International Relations, cum laude. What? Marketing. Would the candidates for the degree in Marketing Management come forward? Zachary James Herzog, Bachelor of Arts, Marketing Management, cum laude. Congratulations. Margaret Jude DePore, Bachelor of Arts, Marketing Management, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Marketing Management. Josie Ann Miller, Bachelor of Arts, Marketing Management. Madeline Marie Clark, Bachelor of Arts, Marketing Management. Anna Elizabeth Lomonico, Bachelor of Arts, Marketing Management, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Marketing Management. Would the candidates for the degree in Mathematics come forward? Alexander, Teshada, and Sadie. Bachelor of Science, Economics and Mathematics, cum laude, departmental honors in economics. Joshua George Davenport, Bachelor of Science, Mathematics, magna cum laude. Mark Connor Miller, Bachelor of Science, Mathematics. Sydney Janae McKeel, Bachelor of Arts, Mathematics and Political Economy, summa cum laude, departmental honors in political economy. Abigail Reese Price, Bachelor of Science, Mathematics, summa cum laude, departmental honors in mathematics. Stephanie Jane Walker, Bachelor of Science, Economics and Mathematics. Rebecca Ann Brisky, Bachelor of Arts, Mathematics. Emma Virginia Mears, Bachelor of Science, Mathematics. Would the candidates for the degree in music come forward? Anna Margaret Fieser, Bachelor of Arts, Music. Ellen Rebecca Hancock, Bachelor of Arts, French and Music. Would the candidates for the degree in philosophy come forward? Riley Preston Lindsay, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, magna cum laude. Nicholas Robert Sheffield, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, summa cum laude. Christopher Sorensen Moody, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, magna cum laude. Daniel Sebastian Ambule, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, summa cum laude. Leo Thomas Schlieder, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, magna cum laude. Aidan Quinn Cyrus, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, cum laude. Zachary Robert Pilipuk, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy. Ryan Patrick Burbage, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, cum laude. Anna Mary Cannon, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, magna cum laude. Eva Carlson Hall, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, magna cum laude. Chandler David Hart, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Michelle Bianchi, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy, cum laude. P&R? Philosophy and Religion? Would the candidates for the degree in Philosophy and Religion come forward? Isaac Andrew Kirschner, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy and Religion. Stephen John Sullivan, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy and Religion, cum laude, and birthday boy. Isaac Jacob Studebaker, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy and Religion. Andrew Noel Gerard Wygand, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy and Religion, cum laude. Julia Rose O'Neill, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy and Religion, magna cum laude. Would the candidates for the degree in physics come forward? Shane Cortland Smith, Bachelor of Science, Physics, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Physics. Another West. Congratulations on winning that big scholarship. Nicholas Pullen West, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics and Physics, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Physics. Alexander J. Dulemba, Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics and Physics, cum laude. Would the candidates for the degree in Political Economy come forward? Catherine Callender Swope, Bachelor of Arts, Political Economy. Hey, Steve. Yeah, I know. Stephen Luke Edelblue, Bachelor of Arts, Political Economy. Harrison James Baer, Bachelor of Arts, Political Economy. Nicholas Francisco Lally, Bachelor of Arts, Political Economy. Okay. Lily Margaret McHale, Bachelor of Arts, Political Economy, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors in Political Economy. Jack Owen Coker, Bachelor of Arts, Political Economy. Ian Gregory Renkes, Bachelor of Arts, Political Economy, cum laude. Mason Brian Bailey, Bachelor of Arts, Political Economy, cum laude. Sabrina Amira Marie Geyer, Bachelor of Arts, Political Economy. Would the candidates for the degree in politics come forward? John Kirk Lanning, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, magna cum laude. Chloe Ann Kersey, Bachelor of Arts, Politics. Joseph Walter Hoppy, Bachelor of Science, Economics and Politics, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Economics. Bridget Karen O'Neill, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, cum laude. Shane Patrick O'Grady, Bachelor of Science, Politics, cum laude. Zachary Fullerton Niebolt, Bachelor of Arts, Politics and Spanish, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Politics and Spanish. Pretty good. Thank you. Congratulations. Michael Stephen Lee, Bachelor of Arts, Politics. Charles Everett Buffkin, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, cum laude. Camden Scott Schaefer, Bachelor of Arts, Politics. Easy enough, yeah. Benjamin Davis Wilson, Bachelor of Arts, Politics. Grant Winston Boys, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, magna cum laude. Mitchell Dean Jesse, Bachelor of Arts, Politics. Sean A. Hyaduk, Bachelor of Arts, Politics. Francis Louis Luchetti, Bachelor of Arts, Politics. Congratulations. Mary Grace Gregg, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, cum laude. Samantha Ann Malcolm, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, summa cum laude. Carmelina A. Pestrido, Bachelor of Arts, Latin and Politics, summa cum laude. Ruth Moreno, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, summa cum laude. Kenna Jane Hayes, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, summa cum laude. Caroline Jane Welton, Bachelor of Arts, Politics. Would the candidates in psychology come forward? John Stearns Williams Barstow, Bachelor of Science, Psychology. Brandon Michael Corhonen, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy and Psychology. Sarah Catherine Malloy, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, cum laude. Peyton Robert Cole, Bachelor of Science, Psychology, cum laude. Jade Summer Juniper, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, cum laude. Gladys Janina Oster, Bachelor of Science, Psychology, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Psychology. Maya Maluia Spadaccini Canupio, Bachelor of Science, Psychology, magna cum laude. Leilani Shang Wong, Bachelor of Science, Psychology, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors in Psychology. Sarah Elizabeth Haught, Bachelor of Science, Psychology, summa cum laude. Matthew Gregory Malcolm, Bachelor of Science, Psychology and Religion. Oh man, why'd you have to do this to me? Patrick Thomas Cartier, Bachelor of Science, Psychology, cum laude. Would the candidates for the degree in religion come forward? Ethan Emmett Hill Richards, Bachelor of Arts, Religion. Hannah Lauren Robinette, Bachelor of Arts, Religion. Stephen Michael Whitney, Bachelor of Arts, Religion. Paul Jacob Marcellus, Bachelor of Arts, Religion, magna cum laude. Elijah Matthias Kwong, Bachelor of Arts, Religion, cum laude. Would the candidates in Rhetoric and Public Address come forward? Rachel Louise Kukaji, Bachelor of Arts, Rhetoric and Public Address, summa cum laude. Cassidy Ray Smith, Bachelor of Science, Psychology and Rhetoric and Public Address, magna cum laude. Madeline Diana Schmidt, Bachelor of Arts, Rhetoric and Public Address, magna cum laude. Catherine Grace Hall, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy and Rhetoric and Public Address. James Roman Vasilishin, Bachelor of Arts, Rhetoric and Public Address, cum laude. Rachel Adele Brown, Bachelor of Arts, Rhetoric and Public Address. Sociology. Would the candidates in Sociology and Social Thought come forward? Sophia Grace Pierce, Bachelor of Arts, Sociology and Social Thought, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Sociology. Would the candidates for Spanish come forward? Aislinn Rose Sullivan, Bachelor of Science, Spanish, summa cum laude. Emily Rose O'Gara, Bachelor of Arts, Spanish, magna cum laude. Grace Elizabeth Lucchetti, Bachelor of Arts, Spanish. Hannah Ruth Stinnett, Bachelor of Arts, Spanish, cum laude. Jonathan Taylor Burton, Bachelor of Arts, Politics and Spanish. Would the candidates for the degree in Sports Management come forward? Bring it on. Joseph Bradley Schneider, Bachelor of Arts, Sports Management. How many of there are you? Just one? Two? A word to theater now? Would the candidates for the degree in theater come forward? Sebastian James Pistrito, Bachelor of Arts, Politics and Theater, cum laude, Departmental Honors in Theater. Kirby B. Thigpen, Bachelor of Arts, Theater, cum laude. Andrew Garrow Heimbaugh, Bachelor of Arts, International Business, Foreign Language and Theater. Is there anybody who thinks they deserve or have earned a degree and forgot to come up? Seeing none, on behalf of the Hillsdale College faculty, I wish to send my congratulations to all graduates. Best wishes to you all. Godspeed in your future endeavors, and do keep that partnership. Come back and see us. Dr. Arnn, the awarding of degrees is complete.
Thank you, Professor.
And just when you think it's over, another guy in a robe gets up to talk. I'm sorry, but I will be very brief. I was going to speak more extensively, but Dr. Jordan Peterson covered most of the topics I had planned to talk about. Actually, I am here in my capacity, my proud capacity, as chairman of the Board of Trustees of Hillsdale College, and I'm representing the board when I, first of all, thank the graduates for all they have brought to this campus over the last several years, to congratulate them for completing this arduous journey. You have not only received a world-class education, you have learned what it takes to be a good and effective citizen. You've spent time thinking about and mulling about and talking about the good and the true and the beautiful. All that is inside you now, and it's just up to you to get out there and shine a light on the world. From all of us here, again, congratulations to the 170th graduating class of Hillsdale College. And we're going to ask you to, you've been sitting a long time, we're going to ask you to stand now for the alma mater, the benediction, and the processional.
Proudly we sing of college halls, gracing a hilltop high. Proudly our tower and ivy walls point to an azure sky. And may that spirit long remain, bringing distinction true. Noble pride in our Hillsdale's name endures 'neath the white and blue. Here we for greater knowledge strive, here lasting friends acquire. Here may we keep our dreams alive, as we to heights aspire. Here may our youth a challenge meet, building our hopes anew. Faith in life becomes complete, 'neath banners of white and blue.
Men, please remove your caps. By the grace of Almighty God, may you be filled with the knowledge of His will and all wisdom and understanding, so as to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord who calls you, fully pleasing to Him and bearing fruit in every good work. And may you be strengthened in the inner man with all power, according to His glorious might, for all endurance and patience, giving joyful thanks to Him in all things. And the blessing of God Almighty, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit be amongst you and remain with you all forever. Amen.
Bless you and keep you. The Lord lift His countenance upon you and give you peace. And give you peace. And give you peace. And give you peace. The Lord make His face to shine upon you Thank you.